Welcome back, everyone. Our final series in the last week of the Summer Showdown qualifiers is coming up soon, and we got the Shanghai Dragons versus the Seoul Dynasty, the two gladiators that have gone against each other in the APAC before, but have been leading the pack of APAC.
I think you said it yesterday quite well, Vicky. You said they seem to be like 2 tier breaks above the rest of the team, so cut above the rest. This should be a fantastic showdown in this stage in particular, just because we've seen how dominant they can be against opposing teams, rarely dropping maps. I think Seoul dropped 2 of which came yesterday, and Seoul and the Shanghai Dragons, I believe, have only dropped 1 map so far. So, yeah, in terms of records, this is pretty tight. You can see across the season as well, 14-3 identical records so far when it comes to map win-losses. This one is going to accelerate one above the other. There could be some shenanigans in the tournament. We can worry about that another time. But in terms of regular season and qualification, only one of these teams can sit on top of the region.
And what's nice to note is I was talking to Avril earlier on today, and we had mentioned this just a few days ago too, where this is El Clásico match basically that we have on our hands, because Seoul and Shanghai actually have the longest standing rivalry between any two teams in the entirety of the Overwatch League, with a total of 22 total series played. So it's really nice to see this be the finale, and for this to determine which of these teams are going to be sitting in the first seed for the Summer Showdown tournament. With both of these teams being 5-0 in this stage, I'm wondering how this is going to play out, because like you mentioned before, Dragons dropped 1 map, we saw Dynasty drop 2 maps, and they both dropped maps to Philly Fusion. So we're going to see how that's going to play out here between both of these teams.
Yeah, Philly Fusion being the spoiler of the region, apparently. Glad to see they actually just secured their place in the Summer Showdown. If you're tuning in just now for this matchup, Fusion were able to take down the Spark with a high enough map differential to make sure they took the 4th place away from the Chengdu Hunters, and they give themselves a spot in the Summer Showdown. Seoul Dynasty versus Shanghai Dragons. I wonder if we can get the Seoul Dynasty roster up just to go through it. It's been quite a consistent one throughout the course of the season. Not really many changes when it came round to this stage. Obviously, we put Profit into the support role, which is probably the most confusing part of this one. But they've been performing very well, as demonstrated by the Seoul Dynasty's record. Stalker and Fitz, they've really come into their own, relying heavily on things like the Genji, particularly for Stalker, who's been having a whale of a time.
Yeah, you know, we talked about it in our previous series. It's nice to talk about it right now. Rookie players popping off left to right. Stalker, Vindame, love this from the Dynasty here. And yeah, this is going to be nice to see what they're going to do against the Dragons, because when we take a look at the Dragons, it's also nice to note that the Dragons, I believe, are actually leading in terms of their set history, 13-9. So with the Dynasty and the way that they've been performing so far within the APAC region, it'd be nice for them to overtake them and have that opportunity throughout this season.
It would be indeed, just to be able to make a true statement of your own. But Stalker, Fitz, Smurf, Profit, Vindame. Smurf is... there was some criticism, I believe, from the previous day. Smurf maybe not getting involved as much as they want to, but also cries from the other side of the community saying Smurf was potentially robbed the player of the match sometimes. These are the things that happen, the dichotomy of the Dynasty. Taking a look at the Shanghai Dragons roster. Lip, who are you? Void, Izayaki, Lijiang, who are you? Someone who is heralded as one of, if not the best Genji in the world, has been having so much fun in this meta, Vicky.
He's been going crazy. I mean, when we talk about the best Genjis in the entire league, Who Are You is in that conversation. But can this contention between Who Are You and Stalker play out in the explosive way that I'm expecting here between both of these teams? I'm wondering, as we are going to get set up here, the Dragons looking fantastic up to par, as well as the fact that, again, they only dropped 1 map so far in the qualifiers for the Summer Showdown versus the Dynasty, who just yesterday did lose 2. Now, very close in terms of where these two teams are standing in the APAC region. Like you mentioned before, Trin, and like we talked about earlier on yesterday, these two teams are on a completely different plane than the other teams in the APAC region. And I'm excited to see how this is going to play out.
Yeah, I love that you touched on the Who Are You Stalker matchup here. You've got that established veteran, the rookie calling the upshot. That's a really interesting dynamic to see play out throughout the course of the series. Can Stalker almost steal some of the thunder, steal the mantle away from Who Are You in terms of Genji performance in such a Genji-dominant meta right now? I'll be keeping an eye on that one in particular as the series evolves. Izayaki and Lijiang, they've been a fantastic backline duo throughout the entire season. Profit obviously stepping into this role, experienced on the Brigitte from previous metas, but now coming into it in the context of a true support. against such experience and veteran backline on the Dragons, that's also an interesting one to keep an eye out as well. I think Vindane's been playing fantastically anyway. I'm not too worried about Vindane holding up against Lijiang in this series.
Yeah, it really does play out into that rookie versus veteranship that we've been seeing between the Dynasty and the Dragons. It's really enjoyable also to see that the Dynasty are feeling nice. You can see some smiles. They're laughing. They're enjoying themselves before they dive into this match, especially after what we had seen from their faces just yesterday against Philadelphia. A lot of interesting series that we've had throughout this week in Trid, but of course this is APAC for a reason, and this is where the chaos really goes down.
Absolutely, players are just getting into the lobby just to lock us off and get us into the series. Our first map of the day, or for this series, is going to be Lijiang Tower. You could technically consider that Shanghai Dragons' home map, if you wanted to look at it from the lore. But, you know, we don't really have home and away advantage. That'd be kind of weird, wouldn't it, in Overwatch League? But no, expecting a lot of good things from this series in particular. Like you said, there's playing for first place. Summer Showdown positions are all really locked in right now. You've got to think of the overall context of the season leaderboard and what this means for playoffs and looking towards grand finals, because that's around the corner. Basically, after the Summer Showdown, we have Countdown Cup and then we have playoffs. So it's getting closer and closer to the main event where we will truly be able to see more of these West versus East clashes and hopefully see who's going to take home the ultimate prize at the end of the season. Because I think especially with the Junker Queen meta that we're in, Vicky, there's still a lot of conversation about West, East, who's actually coming out on top of this one. A lot of hype around the Dallas Fuel. People will be like, no, the Fuel are going to kick whoever comes from the Eastern region back down to the curb in this one. And it's always interesting that we get those more international clashes. I am curious to see what comes of it in the Junker Queen meta. But as we keep highlighting, we've already been told that there are going to be changes coming post-stage. So I can only imagine what the meta is going to look like or what it's going to evolve into for Countdown Cup and playoffs, and whether the opinion that the West is more dominant will still hold true if we move away from the Junker Queen meta.
That, and if Genji's even going to be prevalent there too, because that's where we found a lot of that success with the Dragons having Who Are You pop off. That's really allowed the Dragons to really shine here too, as well as the fact that it's the reason why the Dynasty are currently leading in the overall standings here in the East. They're on top of the Dragons, who had a bit of a rough start here versus the Dynasty in terms of where we were standing in the start of the season. And this is the opportunity for the Dragons to not only make that comeback in terms of overall points since they already qualify, but it's also what really trickles into the importance of getting that first seed, where the team that does come out on top of the series is going to be able to obtain as well as get that first pick choice.
I'm going to start naming and shaming players. Do you know who's not in the lobby yet? The reason why we've not started the game? Lip. They get enough time. I give them enough time. If they're making, that's how this works. they get enough time. But no, it's Lip who's causing the lap to be delayed. Don't send hate though. It's probably something to do with technical. The team, to be honest, just came in. Probably weren't expecting the series to end that quickly, because ultimately our previous series was quite quick. Even though we did go to 4 maps, Vicky, they were very fast maps because of the full hold. So wrestling up the team is all good. Just get to make sure they're comfortable, make sure they're ready. We don't want to rush them into a match that's as important as this. And then we'll get the map on the way and kick things off on Lijiang Tower shortly.
I love the players before they jump into the game. You can see the sudden happiness, excitement, and then it slowly trickles down to, all right, game face, you gotta lean forward real quick. It's not real unless you lean forward as far as you can where your nose touches the screen. But also, we got the Dragons just having fun with it, as looks like we actually got everybody in the lobby right now. We are just getting set up currently. Like Trid mentioned before, first map is going to be going into Lijiang Tower. Now, a map that we've actually seen Faras come out from some of our teams beforehand. Look, this is what I was talking about. The smiles, they're laughing, they're having fun right now. We even got Stalker with the sippy cup, taking some notes from the Valiant that we had seen just yesterday. By the way, Who Are You? I heard when he's got those clippies in his hair, I hear he is at his full power. So
maximum power level, the clips unlocked.
He's getting 5G. He's getting the 5G connection real quick with the clips.
All right, Lijiang Tower could be a potential here for us. We know it's a bit of their kingdom. Starting off on command center, though. No real surprises in the lineup. I'm sure when they get out onto the field itself, probably we'll see the movement away from the Symmetra. As much as I'd love to see an Izayaki and a performance, definitely not what we're going to see as well here. Just really not the flavor of this stage, unfortunately. Symmetra's out for the TP's in, and then we'll get our other variant damage dealer pick. I imagine we are going to see the Sojourns in full effect, and there it is. Lip and Fitz going to have that showdown on the mirror matchup.
Oh,
they were going to have that showdown on the mirror matchup, but Profit got there first and absolutely destroyed Lip.
What? That was insane. But now you see 2 going down here for the rest of the Dragons. And the Dynasty, what a dominating performance in that first team fight to already get control over the point first.
Wide Stalker happy there in the player cam you saw, as they were able to secure themselves a very fast first fight win and first cap of Command Center so far.
You see Lip getting taken down again. Fitz, okay, with a little nice cheeky angle, having that opening right there. Lip getting called out of position, and immediately the Dragons back away. They didn't want to take any chances with the disengagement.
This is turning into Lip Stay Alive challenge brackets very hard at the moment. Gone down first in both of these fights so far. Able to still get 33% ult charge though, despite dying very quickly, so they're able to find some impact before they're going down potentially. Or at least trying to weave in that value. Love what we saw Fitz do. The right click just came out of nowhere, interwoven with the left clicks there. So the railgun just took everyone by surprise and was able to have that sudden burst onto Lip. Able to stay alive. He's on the off angle for the time being. They're going to rotate round to the stairs, try and contest downwards.
See Fitz going to be able to send out that shot here. You see the disruptor shot as well, controlling so much space. The engagement though, starting off. Stalker trying to have that opportunity as Izayaki falls a little low. So does Fitz though. Stalker getting taken out. Izayaki, the Flail's going to be able to take him, but it's going to be a trade for trade. Profit on another level with these follow-ups here, but it's Lip with a big shot onto Smurf, and now the Dragons turning things around in their favor. Finally, 60% on that point in favor for the Dynasty.
So we'll get the flip. Ultimates not yet drawn, but they are relatively close across the board. An explosive fight on the horizon as the Seoul Dynasty will attempt to retake the point. Lucio's leading the charge on the ult, which means we'll get sound barriers definitely in play here. Who Are You and Stalker not far behind on their blades. Wonder how good Lip's going to be with the accuracy. Doesn't even need the overclock. This is big for the Shanghai Dragons. If Seoul Dynasty stick around, they're just going to be farming ult charge. Nothing really they can get from this fight now. Who Are You's there on clean up, and the explosive fight will have to wait another day.
Look at the power that those clips are giving Who Are You right now. He is fully engaged right here as the Dynasty are going to look for a reset, and Fitz with a big pick up to Lip. That's going to be the quick disengage from the Dragons. They're going to be able to back away. Again, look at these ults that they're about to have here to match that as Who Are You's going to pop the blade despite Lip not being in this fight. That's completely fine. He finds Vendame. He immediately puts the advantage back in the Dragon side as Lip is going to be able to meet up with them soon. The rally was called in by Profit though, still was engaged. And now here comes the overclock. Yeah, coming in from Fitz. Gonna get a pick here. Void's super low. Stalker finds him here. And the sound bear from Lijiang on to keep the rest of the Dragons alive. Trig.
Bit of the alley-oop coming in from the Dynasty lineup. Fitz does all the work to trap them down. Rampage from Smurf finding free. Voids lost their life, won't be bringing that ultimate to the fight. The flip has to come in for the Dynasty here. Love the teamwork there from Fitz and Stalker. Fitz using the damage just to get everyone down low. Stalker comes in with a cleanup on the blade, guaranteeing the kill on Void. And not only removing the tank, but removing the Rampage, which is an advantage they had in the fight. Pushed them over the limit, 75% and counting. We're getting into that final fight territory in this first round.
The bada bing, the bada boom here, Trib, because they used up a lot of their ultimates in that last fight to try to stay alive. Void still has the Rampage at least, but they're going to need to rely on this. Hopefully they have the survivability. First pick, though, onto Fitz is going to actually allow the Dragons to turn this point.
Oh, it's all about these first picks coming in from Lip and Fitz in this series. They're just being able to just take so many people out before the fight even begins. Void lands a huge Rampage. 99% is going to come on the board for the Seoul Dynasty. This is it. Only a sound barrier in effect for Vendame, rolling out to try and retake this point away from the Shanghai Dragons. Winning the fight decisively will give them the round as well.
That was the best case here for the Dragons to be able to get that first pick here. Who Are You falls incredibly low. Vendame now with the rest of the Dynasty is going to help their survivability as the Dragons push all the way forward. Izayaki gets taken down. You can see Who Are You trying to isolate Vince. He's not going to give it to him. He's got the spawn right there. And now with the cleanup, they're going to be able to move right along onto that point.
It's a big overcommit from the Shanghai Dragons. They went beyond their choke point to try and fight the Dynasty outside their spawn. They had that safety net they could always fall back to, though. See a lingering Lijiang trying to find a way to touch the point. Won't be able to make the contact. Izayaki doesn't make it there in time to trigger overtime, and the Dynasty take the first round. As I was saying, Vicky, huge overreach there by the Shanghai Dragons to try and take the fight right outside the spawn room. You saw how many members of the Dynasty were able to retreat to the safety of the spawn room and mitigate that damage, get the immediate healing, and come back out strong. Really not the position you want to be taking that fight, especially if you can't finish it quickly.
It was really nice from Vendane to pop the sound barrier there too and immediately go into the speed boost with the song, because then he was allowing the Dynasty to also kind of spread out, because Who Are You popped the blade. There was no isolation pick right there. He wanted to narrow down that focus onto Fitz that has that power slide, so he's going to be able to get out of that dangerous zone, out of Who Are You's reach essentially, and it does look like we are going to have the Pharah rolling out from Who Are You.
Yeah, nice little match from Stalker as well. So they're going off with the Genji legacy angle we were looking for. Wonder if anyone's tempted to go for the Echo to try and just go for a more direct counter in these engagements. Prophet's found Lijiang, so it's not feeling like Lijiang Tower today, Vicky. I can tell you that for true. Nice environmental concussive blast off there. I think knocked someone off the map. I think it's Void who ultimately goes down there. So huge advantage for the Dynasty. They will be able to rotate round and get that first cap, barring any shenanigans.
Profit stocks are up with a lot of these important first picks currently right now, and with Stalker going to be able to come out on top with the Pharah battle. You already see the swap up from Who Are You, getting right back over to the Genji.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me that they're going to try and mix it up. The Pharah duel not working out. Not tempted to go over to the Echo either. We'll try and win the ground war. Stalker's found Lijiang, though. Someone needs to get aerial superiority away from Stalker. It's early picks. He can't get away with it. He's storming away an ult charge as well. Yes, the barrage not going to be the most impactful thing to bring to the table when you're looking at the ultimates across the board. Locking in your coordinates when Lip can just railgun you out of the sky can be quite lethal. Can't deny the effect this is having on Shanghai Dragons, though.
With the way that Stalker's positioning himself, he's out of that range from Lip, and Lip gets taken down from Fitz. Nice angle here from Fitz, but it's a lot of the damage coming out from Stalker, that burst damage that's just allowing him to run away with this. Now he's also not scared of Lip because Lip is not in the fray, so he can continue holding up a little bit, get a little bit more aggressive with some of these angles.
Talk about crossfire coming from different angles, Vicky. You got to remember, when the Pharah is on the field, you're adding in a vertical access to this as well. You're playing in not only having to look left and right, but up and down. That crossfire becomes even harder for someone like Fitz to deal for Lip to deal with. You can't get caught off guard here. Big barrage, don't manage to survive. That's the sacrifice you have to make. As long as you can trade up on the Pharah, though, potentially getting something like Void out of the fight, it can be worthwhile to use the barrage. Dominant position still being maintained here by the Dynasty as they get towards 99%. They're popping the rally and there's nothing to match. Izayaki's a couple of % off of it.
See if he can manage to help contain Who Are You. He's going to be able to pop it. Now the rest of the Dragons are going to move in from the white room right now. The overclock from Fitz. Yeah, you see him trying to take this off angle without trying to be in that line of sight of Who Are You at his blade. He could get enabled here from the sound barrier, but do the Dragons want to burn everything currently right now with the space that the Dynasty have bought in?
He was denied so much. They kept Who Are You out of the front line, was able to mitigate all the damage they were bringing. They've not even given up the point yet, despite the cusp of the Dragons being able to cap it. Beat committed by Vindame and Lijiang. Who Are You needs some healing as he dashes through to try and cut down Profit. Still sustaining throughout this fight. Lip has to pop the overclock here. We're looking for his aim to be true. Stalker's in his face, forcing him out of the fight with the deflect. He holds the line, pulls the trigger. The second it ends, and slides back in to help the rest of his team. The Shanghai Dragons get the flip at 99%.
Beautiful patience right there from Lip to actually wait out on that deflect real quick so that way he could take care of Stalker, who was blocking him between himself and the rest of his team from the white room. Better late than never as the Dragons do get that flip, but 99% in favor of the Dynasty. And you take a look at these ult charges, that Rampage could mean a lot here. Looking at Profit to get that rally online soon.
Thanks for the help.
Should be able to re-assault this one. If Dynasty can get the Dragons to step forward into this corridor on bridge and they get hit by a big Rampage, just wins the fight for them outright. They're not going to be baited into it. They're playing further back. Smurf can sit on this one for a little bit. Attempts to go for the pullback there. Finds the angle. Rampage cuts through free. Where's the counter coming in? Void's not close to finding it, and Fitz removes his head with the railgun. 2-1 advantage in favor of the Seoul Dynasty as they get back on the point and start capping it. It's going to have to be Izayaki to touch. Doesn't get there in time, so we'll be playing around with overtime to begin with, waiting for the reinforcements to come in. Izayaki pulled onto the point by the Jagged Knife from Smurf as they go on the hunt for this lone Brigitte before returning to the point, but Izayaki still standing strong. Hasn't gone down. Who are you? Finds Fitz. The Shanghai Dragons are about to turn it!
What? How did Izayaki live for so long? The overtime now is still online. The contention is Who Are You cleans up Profit. The fact that the Dragons are going to be able to flip this point again. What an amazing stuff from Izayaki and Lijiang right there. That rally actually helped out the Dragons so much just in terms of survivability and to prevent the Dynasty from actually completing that point.
Now, we're getting close for Shanghai Dragons to take us to round number 3. You have Fitz Overclock, Stalker's Blade. Lijiang has the beat. It's a good tool to answer these damage ultimates and try and level out the playing field. Void was able to hold on to that Rampage as well. As that going into the final fight. Charges through, finds free. Vindame already on the back foot, but it's Smurf to go down first. They're going to take this one. They still have time. Don't give up ult charge. Just get out of this one and reset for your last attempt at winning the round and the map.
Who Are You cleaning up? Lip also with that nasty shot from the back real quick here too. Dynasty having to now play through that last fight territory. The Dragons have been able to even things up with the Dynasty currently.
Stalker to touch. Deflects and gets himself away. Can't go down here. They have the blade. Overclock pumps one into Stalker. Profit's gone down. Lijiang with the sound wave. Lip takes out Stalker! Pulls out the blade. Immediately gets dropped. And the Shanghai Dragons are surely taking us to Night Gardens to finish this one off.
Oh, what a hold from the Dragons. Let's not forget that was all thanks to Izayaki for preventing the Dynasty from completing that overtime in their favor. They flipped it and they held it here, Trid. Round number 3 underway between these two insane teams.
Oh, buddy. Coming down to the night market. The Faras were an interesting choice to kick things off. We ultimately saw everyone go back towards the Genjis. Lip being able to shut down Stalker at the end there, so important for the success of the Shanghai Dragons. Basically got him on cooldown with that overclock. They'll be rolling out with mirror compositions on this one to challenge and see who gets that first map advantage in this series.
All right, let's get started now. Gonna be able to try to get to that point here first, but we're gonna have that standoff first in the very front here. See Vindame just using that middle. Let's try to get some extra poke pressure. Fitz too, trying to get that important pick. He falls incredibly low though, but Profit still finds Lip. Profit always opening things up to follow up from Fitz has been fantastic in these last 2 rounds.
It's been beautiful. Muted offense from the Shanghai Dragons, unable to get that positional advantage. They can stall for time, get Lip back into the fight, but they might just give the first cap over here. Void doesn't step forward in time. Happy to give that one over because they knew it would be an untenable fight for them to take.
Now with the Dragons regrouping though, he's a bit of a disengage here from the Dynasty before trying to find that other angle. Lip trying to fight on the other side here. Stalker going down though, that's going to be the green light for the Dragons now to move in. Free real estate here, this economy can be tricky here, and now you see Who Are You going to get traded out. Oh, goodbye. Whoa, flail for flail, Lijiang and Smurf are going down, and Profit finds Izayaki again. Are you serious? That's 2 environmental kills, but the number advantage still in favor for the Dragons with Lip not getting contested whatsoever.
Yeah, able to stay alive, healthy on the point, was the capture merchant for them as well. 24% before the flip comes in. Dragons are going to get back to point a little bit faster now as the Dynasty approach to go around the outside in Lijiang Tower. Maybe not the best idea with so many environmentals in play to take that route, but they were able to do so. Who Are You? Just going to find his way back to get to the point, back to safety of his team, going for the duel with Stalker. Can't escape the blade, gets cut through. And here comes the beat as well to just secure victory for the Seoul Dynasty as they will get another flip back against the Dragons.
Back and forth we go. Vindame using up that sound barrier, though, is going to be good news here for the Dragons as Lijiang's about to get his own sound barrier to contest Stalker with that blade. Smurf about to get that Rampage online soon. Currently, though, with the number percentage advantage, rather, on the point for the Dynasty, it's going to still be trailing ahead.
Block. Rallies as well.
Oh,
Lips
no.
off the side of the map.
Vindame!
Oh, huge battle again!
Another one?
It surely
meant
sneaks
to
in there.
survive?
Wait, no, where's the Brigitte? Where is Izayaki there? I think they were able to shield bash back themselves back on after that one. But oh, I can't be getting away with madness like that. Not on Lijiang Tower.
That was Izayaki also using the rally at the very end there. Lip as well with the overclock. Fitz did too, and the support ults are off the table minus Lijiang, who's held it in, and now he's going to be able to allow for you to go all the way in, slice and dice the rest of the Dynasty off of this point. 75% here in favor for the Dynasty, but with that flip, we're going to possibly see a very similar route to what we had seen in that last round on Lijiang Tower here, Trid.
I want to see the environmental kill stat after this round. I want to see how many have been accrued just on Night Market, because both backlines are being so successful at getting them and are really abusing the fact that there's just this kill box around the point. And a lot of teams seem to be pathing there. Rampage only going to find Vindames enough to get the kill here. Very decisive from the Shanghai Dragons. Seoul Dynasty trying as best they can to get back to the point. Profit's going to get cleaned up here as well. And they're going to get a little bit of extra ult charge out of them as they start to match their map percentage.
Getting a little aggressive again, just so that way they can try to get those dagger opportunities before backing away again. The disengagement immediately coming out from the Dragon, so that way they can hold that next choke point. Smurf is going to be able to roll back out, though, with the Rampage themselves. So you have the opportunity. Nice little Jagged Blade right there to do some of that extra damage.
Final fight territory. Dragons have control. Smurf dies mid-rampage!
What?
Unable to connect with anyone. That's surely going to be Dragons taking the first map now, cleaning up the Seoul Dynasty. And there's no one around to stall. Smurf's gone onto the wrecking ball to see if they can touch in the last second. And they're unable to. Shanghai Dragons draw first blood, take map number 1 away from the Seoul Dynasty.
Adding another little map in their pocket when it comes to this matchup between the Dragons and the Dynasty. Taking map 1 though, Trid. What a way to start things off for this series. All the way down to the wire though, going into round 3 of Lijiang Tower.
Well, they've drawn it. Shanghai Dragons, Izayaki, a player to definitely watch this series. A raid boss that's nearby impossible to take down on certain maps. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, map number 2 is going to be here waiting for you.
Welcome back, everyone. What a series for that first map already to open things up. Very close between both the Dragons and the Dynasty. But Trid, we are just starting up real quick. Before we dive into that, why don't we take a look at some cheeky environmental kills as well as the survivability of the likes of Izayaki.
Right, this is the Izayaki on Gardens, right? Where they just run down so low, able to stay alive. I think it's when they go in for a fight, and they go into white, I think. And at this point, Smurf and the rest of the Goon Squad are chasing him down. And he just does not die. I think he gets compacted here in a second. Yeah, look at them. They're just running all at him. How terrifying that must be. And Izayaki jumps across, using the shield flash to just close the gap and gets himself in a position where he's still alive and finds some value for the rest of the team fight. And the worst part of that was, like, we were watching it from Smurf's POV originally. Smurf looked at Izayaki and was like, all right, I got you. Like, okay, the team's got this. I'm going to go back to the point and focus on that. Starts walking back to the point, and he probably was looking for the kill feed to see Izayaki come up, and he's like, all right, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And then he suddenly gets hit by a Brigitte flail because he's just still alive and manages to sustain throughout the fight. So a little bit of raid bossery coming from Izayaki, keeps him alive in the fight. As you said, Vicky, let's look ahead to the next map, though. Midtown is going to be where we're going next. The hybrid map, of course, one of the new ones in Overwatch 2. And there have been no substitutions, no changes, and I'm expecting the lineup that both of these teams run out with in terms of heroes are going to stay relatively the same as well. Probably not going to see much variation, although we have seen in the past some variations over to Echo and Pharah, particularly on point A of this map.
I'm interested to see what's going to be the option here since we've been seeing so many different variations. It's here on Midtown and Paraíso that we've been seeing some of those different variations, especially with those longer sight lines. Could help enable the Ashe. The Echo, of course, going to be able to duplicate that Junker Queen, but there's a reason why we haven't been seeing it as usual. Of course, the Genji just having so much impact. Now I'm looking at more of these bonks that we've been getting with these flails. I'm excited to see some more of that from Izayaki. Not going to happen here on this map, but of course with that survivability, that's going to help out the rest of the Dragons, especially with that stall potential that we saw.
Look at that, beautiful statues of Liberty. We are in New York. Could be a destination for grand finals. I don't know where that is yet.
That'd be nice, right? That'd be pretty
nice
cool.
to return to form, go back to where it all started for the start of Overwatch 2. Started it in Overwatch 1 grand finals.
If you go, you have to speak like a New Yorker, though.
I'm not going to do that. I feel like I'd insult too many people. For some reason, I feel like I know it's quite a multicultural place. I probably just, my natural instinct with a New York accent is trying to put in maybe a little bit too much Italian. And at which point I wouldn't feel comfortable, so I'm not going to do that.
Hey, you nailed the Paraíso point right there. You know, you nailed it earlier on today.
New York.
No, you just basically got it right there. I believe in you.
Well, New York.
Look at these angles that we're currently seeing, though. Who are you actually isolating Van Dame in that side room here? And he's still going. He gets shut down. But that's already a nice start here for the Dragon Strip. Bam.
Easy start here for the Dragons. Solid defense. Need more of that. They burned 30 seconds. Still got a lot of time to get through. Collected a little bit of ult charge from themselves, but nothing super substantial at this point. And I expect the Dynasty, their plan will be, don't let Who Are You kill two of us on the entry. Yep, good. That's the plan. They're going to move forward.
Here you have it, Coach Trade, once again. Always laying down the facts real quick. Trying to find where Who Are You is, though.
Don't listen to my coaching. It's not good.
Oh, they're trying to just pass right through the under part of that bridge, and they've isolated Lip, so it found a lot of success here for the Dynasty. Nice shout to also put them into that position. Who Are You is going to be on the other side as Izayaki now finds Profit. Going to get some of that revenge after those initial pickups that we saw on Lijiang Tower earlier.
Yeah, giving up over a third right now. Shanghai Dragons waiting for the reinforcements to come in. Smurf under the cosh. Jagged Blade won't find a connection, tries to pull it back. And it will not pull them back into an exposed area. They'll take Stalker as the consolation prize. 63.6% accrued for the Seoul Dynasty so far. They don't get that second tick of the checkpoint, so they're only able to walk away with one piece of the pie.
Now look at this blade difference that we're going to have between Who Are You and Stalker. Who Are You is basically about to get it. He falls a little bit low here, but he's going to be able to back away in the line of sight of Izayaki and the lovely hands of Lijiang. He's got the blade online here, and Profit's going to be close to that rally. I'm going to be also looking at Fitz to try to get that initial pick off. They could even isolate Who Are You. He's going to dash in. He's going to have the blade. Nice boop off to the side, but he's going to still push in. Van Dame also going to fall a little low, so his Smurf Fitz now with the overclock is going to try to find that opportunity. Didn't get the impact that Who Are You was expecting inside that close room with the blade.
Vicky, you try getting impact when you feel like a pinball inside a pinball machine. He just bounced around that entire room. How is he supposed to know which way is up at that point? I'm not surprised he couldn't find any value. Lijiang comes in with the sound barrier. Vindame has to answer it, lands the connection, finds it on all members as well, so that will balance out the HP differential we had. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. Shanghai Dragons losing Void. This opens it up for Dynasty to be able to continue their progress they started already. Try and get themselves over to getting the point A capture. Stalker just dashes around, gets the cleanup. Who are used there to be killed at the end. But does take Profit with him as a little parting gift. But that's point A going over to the Dynasty, and we get a time back extension and move on to the escort section of this map.
Listen, Trade, APAC is the circus, and who are you? Just participated in the bounce house real quick over to the side, okay? He may have not gotten that impact here, but this is good news here for the Dynasty. While the Dragons are going to be able to filter out, they're also going to have enough time to get onto this high ground, which is important because that space wasn't denied by the Dynasty because they were so focused on trying to get that payload moving.
Keep around that first corner. Very muted for the time being. Long sight lines for Lip to abuse here with the overclock. If they want to trigger that one online. Don't show yourself the fits though. You can still snipe your way. Going forward quite aggressively here from Lip. Good presence of mind for the Seoul Dynasty to just give up the space. Don't challenge that ability. Finds a headshot. Don't think it's going to get away with much damage though. Now it just resets the entire fight. Smurf and Stalker have the Rampage and the Dragon Blade ready to go in this next engagement.
Oh, Void's going to pop it here first.
Finds free. Fitz is going to go down here, surely.
Oh, they're still going right now here, Trade. Both of the supports out from the Dragons. No sustainability as Void's going to meet them back in the spawn. Who are you understanding the situation, though? Is just going to hold on to the Blade right there. Smurf goes down with the Rampage, but this is good news because this is the part here on Midtown that could get tricky. Getting right past underneath this bridge with the spawn point being right there for the Dragons always makes it difficult, so you want to hold on to that Rampage. Profit finding himself incredibly low.
Little love tap on the way out there from Izayaki, sending Profit flying as they go for that reset. Like you said, very tight corridor here to be abused. Shanghai Dragons might want to be conscious of the Rampage that Smurf has in their pocket. They do walk forward, challenge them. They might just set themselves with a perfect lineup. There's the rally from Profit. Blade from Who Are You? Having to cut through that additional armor is a bit of a tall order. Smurf hits the Rampage, only catches Lijiang, which is surprising as the most mobile member on that team. They leveled it out with a kill onto Stalker. So 5 versus 5. Fitz using the overclock, bursts through Void. Nothing else for him to survive there. And the Shanghai Dragons need to consolidate themselves, get them back together. They will be able to emerge around this point with a beat from Lijiang to keep the fight going, take it back to the Seoul Dynasty. Profit under so much pressure will get taken out by Who Are You. They get control of the payload. 1 minute 12 remaining. Seoul Dynasty finding 2 kills, open it back up for themselves. They can clear away Void and Lijiang. They should be able to walk this one over the line, but Who Are You? Doing the Lord's work to find Smurf and Fitz, keeping alive on the point, and the Shanghai Dragons are able to hold this one. And it now forces a final fight territory for the Seoul Dynasty.
What a seesaw that fight was. Not only did the Dynasty come out nearing that fire truck to the very end of that point, but Lijiang using the barrier last to keep the rest of the Dragons alive, while Who Are You isolated Profit, being the first pick out from the Dynasty, but then turning around and still without having the man advantage, being able to take care of the Dynasty was huge from Who Are You. Like you mentioned, Trid, last fight territory here for the Dynasty.
Lip should be able to pop that overclock soon. We've seen how good both Lip and Fitz have been in this series, getting those picks before the fight starts. Overclock's a great tool to enable the burst. Stalker can't walk forward, gets caught on the exit! 4v5, 10 seconds remaining. Seoul Dynasty have to take an inefficient fight. Stalker will be coming back with the blade. They can store it long enough. They've taken out Who Are You? 4 versus 4. No Genji's present. Stalker will get back with the blade beforehand. Could be the difference maker.
The support ults on either side. Overtime now. Currently, a Stalker's going to be able to make his way back with the blade, but so is Who Are You? This could change everything here currently. And it's Smurf going down first. Void's going to be able to get the Rampage for this elongated fight. Here comes Stalker. He needs to get a lot of impact.
And the veteran cuts down the rookie!
Shuts him down, slicing him up like a piece of ham. And the rest of the Dragons are going to be able to take control. Fitz are still fighting these important picks because he's not getting denied on the high ground right here. But still, they need such a point. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to. They won't even get it to that first point, initial point right here, as the Dragons hold back the Dynasty.
What a performance there from the Dragon Stalker. Unable to find a connection with the blade, and while they're up in the air, Who Are You took the opportunity to cut him down, slicing through him, ending the blade duration early, and starting the advantage that the Dragons needed to end the Seoul Dynasty's run. Just shy of point B, so it does mean we have a bit of distance to go. Take a look at that replay quickly from Who Are You.
See, this is the point right now where the Dynasty had won in terms of numbers, and Who Are You going to be able to dash in, find not only Fitz and Smurf, but one last member here to shut down Stalker. Absolutely insane there, because it was going back and forth in that last fight. You saw that the Dynasties were able to light up that kill feed all nice and gold. But Lijiang's survivability to help out the Dragons there also really helped Who Are You. Allow them to follow up and close out those lives from the Dynasty when they were falling themselves low.
Now it's time for Dynasty to set up on their defense. Shanghai Dragons riding the high right now. They lead the series after the first map. Could take us to match point after 2 maps, and I think that'll be a disappointment for the fans at home. I think a lot of people were expecting this to go to distance and be a 5-map series, and we're on the cusp of having that taken away from us slowly but surely.
Gracie coming right back to Void real quick, as they're going to be able to immediately speed boost themselves onto that point, wasting no time, but Stalker is going to be able to find Lip. That's going to cost the Dragons here as they down a man. Let's see if Who Are You could actually get that trade. It doesn't look like it's going to work out for them, though, as Void gets taken down here, too. Fitz finds himself low, but now the Dragons are still at that disadvantage, and it looks like the Dynasty currently are going to be able to hold their ground on the defense.
Yeah, solid work from the Dynasty to begin with. Finding that easy pick on Lip really does take all the wind out of their sails. Just about to hit the 1-minute mark for time burn. Need to have something left in the tank if they want to try and hit point B as well. You do get a nice extension, but there can be a lot of stall potential in that first section of the escort part of this map. Getting through the train is the first kind of chokehold in the first frontier, if you would. Stalker running down low, needs some assistance from his team, will have to hide away. Fitz taking a lot of shurikens there, maybe too many, and causing some healing resources to be diverted over to them. Same thing can be said for Void, though. Look how low the Jungle Queens are getting. Beautiful snipe there from Lip to open it up, though. This gives them the advantage they need to move on to the point, and they're going to hit them with everything they've got to try and turn this and convert it to a point A capture. Who Are You? Consistently doing the Lord's work right now, hunting behind Stalker, waiting for the defense to come in, goes for the dash for the reset. They're just clearing up the last remaining pieces now, and they want to hunt out last remainers of Dynasty before they're able to go and contest. They'll get the capture 100%, and they're going to have 4 minutes and 45 seconds to be able to assault point B.
Nice positioning here from Lip too, and with that first pick from Lip, that enabled the rest of the Dragons to move in, not only with the man advantage, but also without having to burn any of these ultimates to hold this next corner. This is what we were making mention of before here, where the Dynasty couldn't really push up with the time that they had to cop this point, and they weren't really able to get to the high ground immediately first. So the Dragons are going to be able to try to deny them some of that space. You could already see Who Are You over by the side here, trying to put in some of the extra pressure. Here comes Stalker now with the blade.
Yeah, tired of these conversations of having Who Are You take the advantage. That door was closing just at the right time to protect the Shanghai Dragons from losing even more. Did stop Stalker from going forward and getting caught behind the door and picking up any additional kills. So we'll just take the one, stalls the progress of the payload. Shanghai Dragons have both damage ultimates, a rally, and they're on the cusp of getting Void's Rampage up as well. They have the tools to penetrate through his defense. Speaking of being penetrated, Lijiang's head has just been absolutely removed by Fitz. Just a beautiful railgun shot to kill any chance they have of continuing this push.
Nice little follow-up too from the disruptor shot, slowing him down, just allowing Fitz to get that sitting target basically before he can actually escape. Now seeing Who Are You has the blade. He got the dash here first initially, but Vindane with a great reaction with the sound barrier. Here comes Smurf with the Rampage. He shoots down Who Are You, and Who Are You cannot live. Another Rampage now coming in, finding Smurf and Stalker. Smurf finding himself incredibly low, and Fitz getting wiped out. Lip on a terror low, finding Smurf and Fitz. That was absolutely huge right there too, of being able to isolate Prophet over to the side. Nice Rampage answer from Void.
It's not looking good for the Seoul Dynasty. They've probably got 1 or 2 more fights left in them if they're fast. And 3 minutes at a time back to burn. Lip able to get so many picks there without even using the overclock. They'll have that as an option for this next fight. Need to get themselves off the payload though, create some distance between them and the rest of the Seoul Dynasty. They do not want to get run over at this point.
Lip with the overclock ready. The high ground available to him. You can see the way the Dynasty are over to the side. They're trying to get out of that sight line of Lip, but no running away here once you get that jump. Warrior falls incredibly low, and Lip finds Vindame off to the corner there too. So again, now Dragon's so close.
No.
Oh, and still on a terror. They're cleaning up the Dynasty train, and they get the payload exactly where the Dynasty left it.
They knew that Lip was using the overclock, and Vindame had the jewels to just run out into open territory and loses their head immediately. They were trying to challenge for high ground. They're moving in as a unit. However, if you just get picked off like that, you're worthless to the team. And a 4v5, when everything was on the line there, right at the end of point B, is not the start you need. Shanghai Dragons, they're saying no to this being close. They're saying no to this being the showdown that we were expecting. They want to close this out with a 3-0, and they have 1 more map to do it. When we come back from the break, Watchpoint Gibraltar could be the land where the Shanghai Dragons reign supreme.
Welcome back, everyone. The Dragons currently sit at match point, and they are looking fantastic while they do it, Trid. I mean, if this actually ends up being a 3-0, I believe that would only make Philly the only team to have taken a map off of Dragons in this entire qualifying stage. So that's interesting, but the Dragons, I have to highlight, are looking amazing right now versus the Dynasty. Winning fights that doesn't look like they should be winning right now.
Oh, no, they're getting away with murder at the moment, Vicky. And, yeah, I mean, Philly being the only team to take a map off Dragons would be the most Philly thing in existence.
Sheesh.
Sheesh. That's a bit of an old one, but we'll bring it back anyway. We'll drop a sheesh. I'm surprised you're not migrated over to the swoosh.
No. I hear that so many times in South Florida, but going up next here to this third map.
Is that just a call? Is that just how people greet each other in South Florida now? Just
you'll hear it in the grocery store. It's crazy. I'm like utterly confused. I'm like, what's going on? But going on to this next map here, we are on Gibraltar and going over to what we had just seen on Midtown, Trid. What are you expecting some change-ups from the Dynasty right now? Because we are seeing some shutdowns by Lip that shouldn't be happening. The survivability between Izayaki and Who Are You leaving Lijiang Tower after popping that rally and still being able to cross that corner and surviving on Gardens, as well as Who Are You surviving thanks to Lee Jae-gon's sound barrier and then cleaning up the Dynasty when they had initially gotten the first 2 picks in that fight. It's crazy to see this from the Dragons too, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Clutch Masters now going to be on the defense first. They'll set the tempo for the next round. Can't find a connection there with the Jagged Blade. Fitz trying their luck with the Widowmaker, going up to the skies, see if they can find the early pick. No one shows their head long enough, so we'll have to change back. I imagine they're going to go over to the Sojourn here. Oh no, they're going to go on the Ashe and match Lip on that variation pick that we see in this composition so often.
Very interesting, but playing a little bit close quarters in this first point could be nice here, as Lip is going to be able to stare down Fitz down the barrel and going to be able to claim his head while he's at it too. Great look already for the Dragons, wasting some time away from the Dynasty.
Dynamite's a little bit cheeky going over the top there, getting some extra ult charge in the pocket of Lip, steaming ahead against Fitz when they're on the race to get Bobber on the field. Stalker tries to claim some space, doesn't quite find the connection with the dash and the damage. We'll keep harassing and wall climbing here. Smurf has an exposed head, and that's exactly where we're going to see Lip aiming for. Fitz gone down, Stalker's the next victim. All the final blows are coming from Lip until Lee Jae-gon gets involved in the action. Ah! What a bit of style there. Coach gun into the flick. Lip is a monster, Vicky.
Look at his reaction. He has no reaction, actually. He's just chilling.
Killer.
This is another day at work here. Well, meanwhile, Who Are You with the clips? He's getting all that energy. The signal's just going into his brain to make him act different, but it's going to be Lip that is just straight face while cleaning up the Dynasty.
Bit of an alley-oop kill there. Stalker dashes to the back line. Not been removed just yet. I think they're still lingering about. On the payload, fighting with Who Are You. We'll be able to push that forward a little bit longer. They're going to have to be challenged at some point. I think they've broken this chokehold that Shanghai Dragons have set with them on this first corner. Lip now has the Bob. They can send that down to stall. Looks like a lot of members. This would be a prime opportunity to get value if they want to, but they're going to use the Dynamite instead and wait for the fight to instigate and commit before Lip cuts off the retreat, I imagine, with the Bob.
Yep,
Bob
here comes that Bob
there it is.
from the high ground, and
right on top of
Dynasty
Vindame. That was a direct hit on a Bob to knock Vindame in the sky, and then it auto-targeted and killed the Lucio. The Bob placement was actually perfect from Lip, despite being under the pressure of Stalker.
Lip, who hurt you? This is crazy. What an ending right now from Lip. They are looking to wrap things up right now, Trid, and now you have 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock for the Dynasty to even get that payload, not only past that car wash, but to that first point.
Good chance. A lot of low HP at the moment. Lip and Void under pressure. Smurf, there's a lineup there for you to use the Rampage. If your team are in a position to capitalize, it might have been good too. They're still compact in server room. Smurf going to lead the charge in here. Stalker has to dash away. Who Are You still harassing with the shurikens? Blade available well ahead of Stalker. Rally pop by Prophet. This is going to be a very expensive fight, I feel. Here comes the Blade from Who Are You. Pushed back. not shut out of the fight completely. That is until Vindane comes in with another sound wave. Doesn't find the connection against Fitz, who's still alive. Smurf cuts through, finding two. Who are you? No support options for them. Should be going down here. Carnage cuts down afterwards. No bodies dropped. Void counter-attack, finding four with the Rampage. Void may just turn this fight around despite Stalker's Blade. Lijiang buys some space. Void takes him out with the Jagged Blade. If it's not Lip pulling out the clutches, it's the Junker Queen, Void, saving his team right there, burning down the last 30 seconds. If this keeps going on, Seoul Dynasty will not have a cohesive push for a final fight.
They did it again. The Mad Lads did it again, and they're moving all the way up. Look at Lijiang's positioning real quick before managing to go right back around, but you are too far up ahead, separated from their team. Fitz being able to punish Lijiang for that.
Okay, Fitz can bring a Bob to the party. 6v4. There's a good opportunity for Seoul Dynasty to get a time extension and stay alive in this map. Bob, gonna cut down some of the angles in which the Shanghai Dragons can approach. They're hiding, they're buying time, waiting for the full unit. Izayaki can use the rally and they can just all emerge together. Fitz, fight who are you? Fitz. Lip, the other threat of this team, still alive for the time being. Damage being pumped into Void, not gone down just yet, still being sustained, but it will finally be taken out by Profit. Seoul Dynasty fans can breathe a sigh of relief. They will not get full held on Watchpoint Gibraltar. They get an extension and move into the second section of the map.
Now Stalker is going to be able to move all the way up top of the ship, so that way they could try to deny that positioning from the Dragons, but Lip's got another Bob online here, Trid. Nice little deflect though, and the Dynamite on top of that. He's going to be able to get healed up, and this is going to work nice for Lijiang and that sound barrier, because currently the Dynasty have that rally online.
Okay, they'll line it up. Huge offensive from the Shanghai Dragons, running straight into the Seoul Dynasty, but Lip biting off more than they can chew. The aggression finally being punished by the Seoul Dynasty as members of the Dragons are just falling to the wayside. 1 minute 40 left on the clock. They've got enough time to be able to put this into point B. One more skirmish. If it's successful for the Shanghai Dragons, they can end the run here.
Second team fight win going in favor of the Dynasty. Not expensive though, despite using that rally. He's gonna still have that sound barrier and the blade. Nice Dynamite here from Fitz on the high ground. Stalker to close things out. Yeah, here comes the sound barrier from Lijiang though. Despite losing out on Void and Izayaki, it's a deal with Stalker and the blade. He still fights Izayaki, so nice impact right here as Lijiang falls incredibly low.
I don't know what's happened to the Shanghai Dragons. They had such a tremendous start and they just seem to have lost all the gas in the tank. Lip with the last mover to fall down. But now we're into the final section, 2 minutes 30. Imagine if the Shanghai Dragons didn't take their foot off the gas. They could have closed out this map already. Instead now, they're staring down the barrel of a full map completion from the Dynasty.
All that momentum now in favor of the Dynasty. Especially in that second point. They were not held whatsoever. Void's about to get the Rampage soon. Who are you as well with the blade? It's about Fitz in the Bob and how it's going to actually control this next corner. As you can see, Who Are You just trying to get into position, but that could mean that Who Are You is going to have to respect that when the Bob comes out.
Dash up, Stalker trying to get us around the corner. Rampage finds Smurf and Stalker. Jagged Blade pull back. Smurf is exposed a little bit longer. They can't convert it into a kill. Profit puts the shield up to block the damage. They'll have to settle for Fitz, who is isolated in that engagement. 1 minute 30 left. The Dragons have taken back control. They can actually start looking to set up some kind of spawn cap against them. Carnage can't cut through the door, but the shurikens from Who Are You can.
They was so close to finding some safety here, as the Dragons are just going to look at them straight in the spawn again. Very similar to what we had seen on Lijiang Tower and Midtown. This is the aggressive state that we were used to seeing from the Dragons, just trying to deny even more time from the Dynasty, because now they're about to have less than a minute on the clock trade.
Yeah, time bank running down here, about halfway through point C as well, a little bit up the hill. It's started to roll back just a smidgen. Blade, overclock, rally. Shanghai Dragons have a lot of options. Overclock is the Bob that comes out. Thankfully, you've got that extra man because Lip's been removed off the field. Void's going to get cut down as well. Who Are You still holding on to that blade? Thankfully, the Shanghai Dragons have some meterage to play with here. It's going to be a beat, probably a Rampage before this map ends. Lip changing over to the Widowmaker here at the last hurdle. They know they're not going to be able to really accrue another Bob ultimate, but instant picks here when the time bank is so low can be pivotal.
Oh, actually making the quick swap back. right beforehand. The Dynasty have a plethora of ultimates to work with as well here too. Trade for this final fight territory. Who are you with the blade? It's going to be important for Dame to stay alive, to utilize that sound barrier to keep everybody up.
What does he use it for, though? He's going to have to use it against the blade.
Yeah.
Lijiang's about to get theirs back. That's going to be important for Smurf's Rampage. Rally being popped.
Oh.
Carnage comes through. Who are you? Has the blade exposed. Cutting against sound barrier as expected. Couple members down for the Shanghai Dragons, and they will get caught by that Rampage there. Void and Who Are You being deleted afterwards. They do it in overtime. The Seoul Dynasty do complete Watchpoint Gibraltar.
That was the ult economy right there, really helping out the Dynasty. So the Dragons, they did have about that blade to really help them out, but at the very end, it's been Dame that was able to help the rest of the Dynasty get into position, boost up some more of those ultimates since they were so close to it, solidify that fight at the very end. It looked really rough in that first point on that attack, but they were able to really clutch it out once they got to that second point trade. It was a straight momentum for the Dynasty. They did get held close to that last corner by that final point by the Dragons, who pushed all the way up into their spawn. But it was the Dragons who disengaged, understanding the situation. They used up a good amount of their resources for that the second to final fight. And the Dynasty just taking full capitalization over it.
Well, what's going to be powerful for them, or strong here, so to speak, Vicky, is that Seoul Dynasty know that even if the Shanghai Dragons complete the map, they're going to get another attempt. So that's kind of like locking in an extra life, so to speak. It does mean that now they have to put the work in here, try and get a 1 on the scoreboard and take us to a map number 4, because, I mean, Shanghai Dragons, they can complete. They can complete with time, and they can still win the series on Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Getting set up now. Dynasty still sticking with Fitz on this Ashe. That Bob has been incredibly helpful here for both sides here too. See if Lip gets a nice cheeky pick with this Widow. See Smurf already settling up on the high ground, and Lip immediately swaps over to the Sojourn actually this time around.
Yeah, make use of the railgun, use the overclock, reposition quickly. Love that you can just get those quick bit of charge away. You just throw the dynamite around the corner, hit the shot, let it blow up, and take down clustered members of the team. Now, Lijiang took so much damage there. Imagine if that was the Sojourn coming out for the Seoul Dynasty. That probably wouldn't have been Lijiang being put under so much pressure there, because you don't have the railgun charge. One of the benefits that Ashe can have is instantaneous damage. Doesn't really matter though in the context of the Seoul Dynasty just railing themselves through the Shanghai Dragons on this first corner. Very reminiscent of what the Dynasty had to go up against themselves.
Nice follow from Stalker there too, to just completely engage on the Dragons after Fitz was able to put down some of the extra damage themselves with the dynamite. You can already see that Bob being built up here. Stalker as well with the blade. Good looks here from the DPS of the Dynasty currently, as Lip is going to be able to roll right back out with Lijiang. Trying to see if maybe they could secure that high ground if they have that opportunity. Force the Dynasty from having this positional advantage while they get this payload through the car wash. Yeah,
it goes down nice and low underneath the tunnel. Will emerge out the other side. Lip's going to have to be doing a lot of looking up right now. Lord knows where the next offensive is going to come from. Knows Fitz is on the low ground now. Still gets caught by the dynamite as they rotate up the stairs. Still haven't cleared out the high ground though. They're actually taking a long way around here, Vicky, to try and claim some space and really get them out of this advantageous position. Oh my god, I lost my words.
It's about being able to force them off. If they're not going to get off, you got to force them here. Into the back end, you're going to have Fitz with the Bob to add in an extra member, but the sound barrier is still going to come out on top for the Dragons. A number advantage in favor for the Dragons, wasting no time to get this payload to that first initial point.
They should be able to complete here with some extra time in the bank. Not 100% sold on Lijiang using the beat there. I don't think they need to make that fight as expensive as they already had an advantage, but if it's going to secure them an additional time back to try and push through, yeah, sure, why not? It might come back to bite them in a bit, though, because Stalker is going to have that blade. Hopefully, Izayaki's rally will be enough for them.
Prophet's going to have the rally to match that here, too, as well as Vin Dame. About to get that sound barrier, like you mentioned, Trader. Pretty expensive first point take there from the Dragons, but the Dynasty are going to have those ultimates online, minus the Bob. See Fitz already getting on top of that high ground. Been on point with those dynamites. Nice little headshot real quick. Now having to come down from the low ground, though, you could see the Dynasty's position splitting off the attention from the Dragons. Rally for rally between Izayaki and Prophet now.
Ooh, Lip! Oh, Lip! That's 2. Looking for the 3rd. Missed the shot on Vinde.
Get it?
Should be able to catch him at the end there.
Oh, you're so close.
Oh, Lip just using the overclock there. I was kind of worried about what was happening there. Izayaki popped the rally, went very aggressive with it. Stalker held onto the blade, didn't go for a counter attack, and by the time he was in a position to maybe use it, there's too much lost in terms of space and resource on the side of the Seoul Dynasty that it would have actually ended up causing more harm than good.
Ooh, here comes the Rampage. It only hits onto Smurf though here.
Solo Rampage. Don't always love to see it. Who Are You pulls the blade out. Stalker versus Who Are You again. Who can have the most impact? Fits under the cost. Going to trade out 2 for 1. The Seoul Dynasty standing strong as they will stall out the push on point B.
Who Are You took a leap of faith to try to get at least more impact after that solo Rampage only onto Smurf, but it did the Dynasty even more justice. Now whittling away some more time from the time bank of the Dragons, and in that first initial point, they did waste a lot just so that way they could get that extra time, but now it's escaping their hands.
Go around the high ground, get themselves close to the point, cut off the Seoul Dynasty from the objective. This little stagnation they've had here have allowed them to get control of that payload once more. They will use the Mega to top up. They're taking these dinks consistently. Can't go down here. Always under pressure. Void finding Stalker though. Shanghai Dragons can press forward with confidence, knowing the Genji's not going to harass them. Bob just going to hold down the helicarrier, actually. He's going to come out and find Who Are You.
Saw the Rampage coming in too as Who Are You's going to go down. They trade that for Fitz here too, Trid. So the sound barrier being used up by Lijiang to help the survivability of the rest of the Dragons, but Prophet is staying alive for right now before getting melted down by Lijiang. Lip too, uninterrupted, still finding a lot of these shots. He's got the overclock that he can hold on to for that next corner, but they have the number advantage now in favor for the Dragons.
Doesn't need it. Lip is a man of a one-shot, one-kill mentality. 3 minutes in the time bank, moving on to point C. Prophet going to have to throw themselves off the edge here just to get a faster reset and not get fully staggered out.
Go Lip, having the overclock ready and on board here, Trid. They can try to get onto the high ground, over to the side. Void's about to get the Rampage. Izayaki with the rally. Here comes the rally though first from Prophet. They're going to be able to move forward, trying to prevent them from moving in that next corner. But Lip though with the overclock, like we said before, Void was the one that's going to be able to take care of Smurf. The survivability of the rally isn't enough as the Dynasty lose another team fight. This is looking good. Looking at the time bank from the Dragons right now, nearly 2 seconds, less than 10 seconds on the board as Who Are You is going to be able to push up.
I'm convinced we're going to end up seeing a second attempt of Gibraltar here, Vicky. I think Stalker's Blade is a great option. You got Vindame's beat as well. I think that the Shanghai Dragons can catch up here. The anti-heal coming in from that Rampage of Void, if that fight rings true, finds multiple members, it just takes out Prophet. Smurf needs to be the next target. They can convert that kill as well. It's pretty much a done deal. Stalker has the blade out, taken out Lip. Fitz will be able to find Lijiang gone before the Reign of Terror is ended.
Whoa.
Successful defense from the Seoul Dynasty. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. And the Shanghai Dragons still need to penetrate the defense right outside the spawn room.
Amazing news here for the Dynasty 2, Trid. Now they're going to also hold this corner, which could be so important in dwindling away this time bank from the Dragons. Minute, less than 20 seconds now on the clock. And it's only really Who Are You and Lijiang that are going to have their ultimates online for this final fight. Potentially Izayaki here, depending if he gets picked off first by Fitz.
Let's see him hold the line. There's the overclock from Fitz. Keep an eye on the HP bars. Shanghai Dragons, they'll wait.
Respect.
They'll respect it. Still got 100 left in the tank. Could take a cheeky shot here. Lijiang needs to hide. Blade from Who Are You. Knocked back immediately from Prophet. Goes for the re-engage. The sound barrier from Vindame is there to catch them. Who Are You gets a barrier to reinvigorate himself. Won't have the damage. Will have the defense. And Vindame and Smurf have been eradicated. The Shanghai Dragons need to make this fast. The spawn room is right outside them. They will be able to come back, but they cut through. Shut down all options of defense. 24 seconds of difference as we go through to our next attempt of Watchpoint Gibraltar.
Gotta love Huaryu's timing, not only with the deflect, the patience too. Even if he gets boinked away with the flail, he's still gonna be able to have enough time to split some of that focus to see exactly where Fitz is, just in case Fitz wants to get an off angle to get that charged railgun shot. Tries to go for the deflect, and even if the deflect doesn't land here, it's a respect from the rest of the Dynasty to give Huaryu some of that space where Huaryu is gonna get enabled. The sound barrier too at the very end really helping out the Dragons.
Yeah, it just helps them stay competitive from a HP perspective. Well, now they get to go on the defense, and oh boy, their defense on point A was nutty, Vicky. The Seoul Dynasty really struggled to crack that one. If they have a similar performance, they can burn this 1 minute easy.
I see on the defense, this is exactly where Lip was shining with the Ashe before swapping over to the Sojourn on the attack. Those close quarter fights and the Dynamite really getting a lot of impact. You saw in that initial defense from the Dragons that Lip was able to get the bob from the high ground and boink Vin Dame as he was making his way down, actually allowing the rest of the Dragons to clean up the Dynasty in that first fight. Let's see if we're going to see it again here.
Attackers incoming.
TP to get across, not getting caught out again on the low ground. Still go for the harassment. They force the Dragons back, but ultimately this is where the stall really came into effect, so not broken through the toughest part of this run just yet. Looking for Lip to get these headshots online. Railgun finds him. I'm just so used to saying Railgun now. If he just finds him on the Ashe, actually, he's going to be able to shut them down.
Seeing it so much, less than 30 seconds now to try to get this payload through that car wash. You see the way the Dynasty are just trying to force the Shanghai Dragons off on the high ground. It's the Dragons that are immediately trying to go for the accelerator, but now Stalker finding Lip is going to be the green light for the rest of the Dynasty to have that progress. Look at the disengage, though, from the Dragons. So quick to answer.
If they get staggered here, this is going to be unreal. They'll just give up point A at this point and let overtime trickle. They have to stay alive, try and keep their members in the game before it gets pulled back into the damage. And Stalker will clear them off. This makes it so hard to defend against point A, Vicky. The Seoul Dynasty have opened up Gibraltar for themselves.
Overtime now ticking away here too, Trade, while the rest of the Dragons wait to regroup. The high ground is in favor of the Dynasty. Overtime still on board while Smurf is stuck on that payload, but they're going to be able to get that first point. The Dragons are not going to engage here. Instead, they just want to hold their high ground in the second point, but they have to look for Fitz. Nice Dynamite as well as some early shots from Fitz.
We're in overtime now, Vicky. They just need to have one decisive fight win. They'll end the push, but it does create some difficulty with the spawns and being staggered out in the placement of the map. Lip alone has an eyes on Fitz. Huaryu's there for the assist to take him out. Needs to turn his attention to the main fight now. Stalker trying to return the favor. Both Junker Queens removed. Stalker has a blade, has to pull it out. The hopes of Shanghai lie on the edge of this. And he will cut down the rest of the Shanghai Dragons and keep the overtime push in effect. Enough time for the respawns to come in and make sure they have a 5v5 on the next clash.
Better clearance here for the Dynasty, having extra progress despite not having that time. Like you mentioned, and like we see currently, you can't get off this payload. Overtime ticking away, finding some of those headshot ticks here. Looking at Lijiang and Huaryu with those ultimates. Bob almost on board, but Prophet now popping the rally.
Starts the fight off with a bang. All support ultimates have been deployed so far. Who are you? Time to one-up the rookie. Pull out the blade. You got nothing to stop you. Find Smurf. Turns his attention round to the back line. Fitz using the coach gun to disengage. Wants more value from the fight. Cannot escape the headshot that chases him back to the battle.
Fitz is disgusting. He cleans up 3 from the Dragons, and he keeps the Dynasty's hopes alive. Lip answering back just at the very end right there, but it's still the Dynasty getting the second point too, Trid. Love the coach gun used to push Huaryu away to prevent that blade from having any sort of impact. And while Huaryu thinks he's safe, he turns his back to Fitz, who is now going to make the quick swap over to the Sojourn.
Bob deployed. Rampage from Void finds the backline of the Seoul Dynasty. They could look to end it all here. Stalker's taken out Lijiang. Follows up on the Izayaki. Someone needs to stop Stalker, or we could erode even more. It takes a bot to do a man's job, as Bob will finish him off. That is a hell of a distance to be pushed towards. 24 seconds of difference isn't going to affect that. If you make it that far, Dragons, you're doing it in overtime.
With the momentum being on Dynasty's side for that push into the first point and that second point, really, it trickled down to the Joker Queen all just having so much impact and clearing that point, but it charges so slow, so then you leave it first up to who are you to be able to get that blade, get the sustainability from Lijiang, but the blade just, again, didn't have that impact close to the ship right there, so they couldn't stop the Dynasty fast enough. What a push here from the Dynasty right now, too. The way that they were able to take control over that attack versus what we had first initially seen from the Dragons' defense, and the way that they were able to completely waste away that time. I mean, they almost got fully held before getting to that first point initially.
We're a little bit faster on point A, so there is some hope here for the Dragons if you want to hope them they close out this series. The Ash flavor for Fitz. Lip. I don't know why you'd go for the change here. They might roll out with the Sojourn here after they get the Widow cheeky peek. It's worth the shot. You don't really lose anything for doing it. Let's see if they can be lucky, truthful with their shots, and honest, and get themselves a quick pickup. Going to use the Symmetra TP, and we'll change over to the Sojourn. So we see a split in methodologies from the hit scan.
Look at the space, though, that the Dragons are actually going to be able to get for free for right now before maybe the Dynasty trying to go for a bait. You see the Dynamite coming in. The Dynasty said, all right, we are moving right back around past this building onto the high ground. And now the Dragons are going to be able to get this payload down through the car wash playing off of that low ground.
Yeah, they have the luxury of space. They have so much time to give here. So much distance to be able to burn through by having such a successful offense of their own. Stalker will be there to challenge the payload. He can easily get back up to the high ground if his team needs it. Here's the pathing that the Dragons took last time as well. They're going to go up the stairs and they're going to try and remove the Seoul Dynasty from Blue Box. Who are you need some healing before they do that, though.
A little bit of difference here is that Lip doesn't have that Bob online being on the Sojourn, doesn't even have that overclock. Izayaki falls low, but the nice shout coming in from Void's going to help them stay on top of the high ground. Now the dive here from Who Are You to try to isolate Prophet, but it's not going to work out. The quick disengagement from the Dynasty.
Oh no, this is not good. Lijiang's gone down. Great answer back there from Lip. Need to find more though. Lip charging forward with the Roar. 5 HP. Very aggressive from them. As Void will take down Fitz as well. They've leveled out the hit scan. Reinforcements are coming in. Vindame already back on the scene. Overtime is in effect now. They cannot step off the payload. Izayaki has to be very conscious of this one. With Lijiang gone, they can't support a fight in the server and keep the payload moving. Prophet low. The cut through from Who Are You is there. Turns it around. Looking for Smurf, but will keep the fight on the payload. They have to. Smurf gets cut down. The resets send them to where the reinforcements are coming from, as Fitz will meet a similar fate. And the Shanghai Dragons get the extension. But it's all overtime from here, Vicky.
Got to play the reversal card real quick here, too. I love the split attention that the Dynasty tried to use, but it didn't work on Who Are You, as now he's going to try to stagger Prophet real quick. That's great, because with overtime now ticking down from the Dragons, there's no high ground advantage for the Dynasty. Now they have to wait out on Prophet. They're going to take a little bit of extra time to get the rally, and it's really been Dane with the only ult support to really help sustain Stalker's Blade next.
Let's see what they do as they get through point B. Ult advantage definitely in favor of the Shanghai Dragons in terms of utility and performance when you look at the percentage. Void getting close to the Rampage. You've seen how he can turn a fight round with one of those. Here's the blade from Who Are You. Vindane uses the beat in response as expected. Rampage comes in from Void, finding Smurf and Prophet. Any kills to be converted? Not yet. Who Are You? Kept away. Fitz throws Bob into the mix. Rally from Izayaki. There's not a similar affair right now as Prophet is still climbing towards there. Who Are You deflects the bullets, takes out Fitz. And there's Void finding Prophet, who keeps dying early in these fights. Vindame's the next target. Beautiful headshot from Lip. And the boys will clear through point C. There will not be another attempt of Watchpoint Gibraltar, Vicky. The Shanghai Dragons only need to send in another 20 meters. But the Seoul Dynasty, they need to end the push now.
The sustainability from the Dragons is way too much. Oh! Let's see if he can get one of those picks around the corner. This is the opportunity with Fitz making the swap over to the Tracer.
Look how much damage he's pumped into them already. The rally's there from Prophet for the counterattack. They just need 1-1 fight. Smurf only finds Void. Beautiful disengage from the Shanghai Dragons to mitigate the damage from that ultimate. They've kept him alive. Who Are You? Found Prophet. Fitz turned back on the Tracer. They've answered back with a kill onto Void. Lip is at the back here. A couple of headshots here can change the fight. He fights Stalker. Gets himself away from Fitz. The Tracer has to take the long way round to go and contest him. Dinks him, lowers the HP, takes out Swerve. Lip puts the team on his back, and the Shanghai Dragons will take first place in the Summer Showdown qualifiers.
Seed advantage and coming out on top in the APAC region here in the Summer Showdown qualifiers. Our Dragons do it, and they do it the best way that they can. Lip even on the Widow at the very end, closing it out. The desperate swaps for the Dynasty to try to eagerly get to the point trade. Is it going to be enough for them? What
Smiles
a showcase
around.
match here.
Smiles around on the Shanghai Dragons. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't even have to wait for production. I'm pretty sure they're going to tell me in a second that Lip is the player of the match. It's pretty easy to work out based on how things happened. What a performance from them at the end. Widowmaker just given the opportunity to operate, able to find not necessarily the picks, but we were watching Lip's POV on the Widow, chunking damage consistently. If he wasn't getting kills, he was dropping people sub 50% for the rest of his team to clean up on this all-important fight on the payload, where they physically could not step away. They could not disengage. They didn't have those luxuries anytime, and when Fitz came to come and deal with him, he had the grapple hook ready, he created some distance. What can the Tracer do apart from take the long way round? And at that point, it's not worth it. They go back to the payload, and they get sniped on the way back.
It's difficult, too, when you have Lip putting in so much pressure and not getting checked on the back line, only having the Tracer from the Dynasty to be able to put in that extra pressure. You just grapple away, you free all the way up into the top, where you're going to have extra space, get extra time to be able to poke from the window on the high ground instead, get even a better positioning. What a good play from Lip to actually make that change at the very end where it mattered. The overtime was taken away from the Dragons, and I am hearing true that Lip is going to be the player of the match for this last series.
I would riot if that wasn't the case. I would just walk off the broadcast at this point if we didn't see a Lip player of the match. All important on the Sojourn. Consistent performances, shutdowns on Stalker all the time, constant picks on the Fitz earlier on in the series, pure dominance on the start of Watchpoint Gibraltar, where their picks on the Sojourn, on the Ashe, they were shutting every offensive option down for the Seoul Dynasty. Just an incredible performance from them today.
Nice to note here with no maps lost to the Dynasty, that the one map that the Dragons lost to, once again, now officially, is Philly. You just gotta throw in that stat in there, Trid. It's nice to know that was the one and only map that the Dragons lost to. But then, the way that the Dragons dominated the rest of the APAC region, Dynasty were right next to them, but this was the series that determined who gets that first seed in the Summer Showdown, who gets that pick advantage, and it was Lip to put the cherry on top, wrap everything up with a nice bow on the gift.
Yeah, a couple of overtime pushes. You saw the scoreline having a 6-5 come in on Watchpoint Gibraltar. There it is, player of the match as Sojourn during this series, but we saw Lip make appearances on the Ashe and the Widowmaker this series as well. Widowmaker right at the end to lock down the sightlines and control from afar that final seconds of the overtime push.
Really nice stat line here too, 93 elims, 31 final blows. That pressure too from Lip, not only making the swap to the Ashe and having that success, but as well as a Sojourn that we saw earlier on in the series, really paying off for the Dragons.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's it. The clash we were all waiting for, ending quite abruptly, did deliver, I still think, even though we only had 3 maps. I'm sure people were expecting more to come out of that one. Does bode very well for the Shanghai Dragons as they look towards the tournament, which is the next stage that's coming up. That clears out all the qualifiers for the Eastern region, but that's not the end of the Overwatch action today. Of course, we have North America still to come. They are trying to sort out their seeding for the tournament, which is the next stage. I've been Trid, this has been Vicky. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll hopefully see you sometime soon. Thank you.